Hi guys, welcome to another edition of The Big Shift and the all-time top 9 life lessons. Today I have a fascinating guest who lived an exceptional and unique life. He was once written about as in the top 50 most powerful and most wealthy mafia bosses, but he's done much, much more. He's one of the only people I certainly know to walk away from that life in the right way and still be here to go on to do wonderful stuff. Today, my guest is Michael Franzese. Hi, Michael. Thanks for coming on.
Well, thanks for having me.
Now, I want to get straight into it. It's a very unique life to have traveled the life that you had, Michael. And at such a high level, you was a capo of the Colombo family when there was so much activity then in the New York mob. I know, you've been on Netflix with things like Fear City. You got some wonderful books out, and some wonderful other things you're doing today. You must have had a lot of real life and business learnings from that. Today, I want to ask you your top 9 all-time life and business lessons. What would number 1 be, Michael?
I would think that, and I'll go back to when I was in that life, all the business proposals that I would get, people offering me deals and wanting me to get involved with them. And I used to, it would be to a point where I would have a place every Monday night. I would have people come and meet with me Monday night and propose something to me. And that was it. Because I was kind of the guy on Long Island, And people would sit down with me and they'd say, well, I want to open up a restaurant. I said, okay, what's your plan? Well, I'm going to serve good food. I said, well, that's a given, isn't it? I said, what else is your plan? Well, I'm going to find a good location. I said, okay, those are 2 things that we would hope you're going to do, normally. But what's your plan? What's your budget? How many people are you going to hire? And I went through the whole thing. Well, they didn't have a plan. So I tell everybody, make your plan, write it down, put it down, study it, know it, so that going in how you're going to operate your business, everything that it takes. I said, take time with it. So I think the number 1 thing is, once you come up with your concept, your idea, have a plan, go for it, put it down on paper and stick with it. And of course, you're going to deviate a little bit. There's market changes, things that happen along the way, but at least you're going to know what it is that you want to do. You're not winging it. And I think that's number 1. That's it for sure.
Start with the end in mind is a good one. Number 2, Michael, what would that be?
Number 2, I always say, know what you do best and delegate the rest. And the reason I say that, you can't be, no matter what business you're in, you can't know everything. You can't be good at everything. There's things that you're going to do well. There's other things that other people will do better than you. People used to say to me, you're a brilliant businessman. And I would say, no, I'm not. I had certain talents. And I think my talent was, number 1, I knew how to recognize a good opportunity. And number 2, I knew how to get the right people to help me implement it and then motivate them to do the work. So I always say this, do what you do best, delegate the rest. Figure out what your strength is and get people to do what you don't do well and motivate them to the highest degree that you can.
Very wise advice. And your number 3 all-time life and business lesson, Michael?
Have a consigliere. Have somebody that you can, that's an advisor to you, that you can run things by. That's not a yes man. That's not worried about standing up to you. So at least when you have something that you want to try, you want to get another opinion of somebody that you respect. You don't have to listen all the time, but at least you're going to hear it. You can make your own judgment. I think that's very important, and for me, it was my dad in certain things, but even what I do now in my business now, I have people that I turn to that are smarter than me, and I ask their advice. And there's sometimes I'll disagree, but most of the time, if I think they know better than me, I let them go, let them do it.
And what would be the first, the number 1 fundamental that you would look for in a consigliere?
Again, that he's not a yes man, that he's not worried about pleasing me, He's more worried about giving me the right information and the right opinion. That's important.
Number 4, Michael.
You know, it's funny, I don't have them, I've listed them all in my book, but number 4, you know, put a good crew together. You know, again, you're only as good as the people that you surround yourself with. And I think that's important. You know, I always say this, you're going to run your business pretty much the way you run your life. If your life is a mess, your business is not going to be much better. If you're hanging with the wrong people in your life and you don't know how to put the right people in your business, you're going to suffer for it. So it's always put the good team together, the right crew together. That's going to help you implement the business that you're in, you know, the details of the business that you're in. It's very important, you know. And, you know, again, I think you understand what I'm saying. You operate your business the way you operate your life. It's just an extension of it. So you got to be good at both.
That's sound advice, really. That is absolutely my experience too. Number 5, Michael.
Know how to negotiate. Very important, you know. Negotiation, again, I say this, you know, people don't realize that all of life is a negotiation. When you're married, you know, you're negotiating with your spouse, you know, quite often. You negotiate with your kids, you know, they're coming to you for certain things. You got to work things out. Sometimes there's compromises. In business, there's negotiation all the time. Learn the techniques of negotiation. And, you know, again, you know, in that regard, I always say, be a good listener. You know, there's sometimes you're going to be in a negotiation and you're the smartest guy in the room. And you don't want people to know that. You want to hear what they have to say. And as long as you're listening to them, you know, you got the upper hand. There are other times when you're in the room and you're not the smartest guy in the room. And you still want everybody to talk because your silence, they don't know if you're smart or not. But by the time they're finished talking, you got all the information you need. And, you know, that's the art of negotiation.
Very good, really. Number 6, Michael.
Oh, gosh. You know, I always say this, pay your taxes. I have to make it, yes, I have to make it important for me because, you know, that was one of my problems. I mean, I was defrauding the government out of taxes, and I never liked to pay taxes because my theory was I can do better with the money than the government will. They're going to waste it anyway. So, you know, I may as well work with it. But pay your taxes, you know, do it the right way. I always say that. Do it the right way, you know, very important.
I had to learn that too because it seemed great, but to actually own anything where that was concrete, I had to learn to play the game. That was my, that couldn't be taken again, or it was a problem, you know. But so your all-time number 7 life and business lesson, Michael Franzese.
You know, integrity in business, you know, that could be number 1, that could be number 7, it could be all the way through. It could be part of everything that, you know, it could be part of every item. But having integrity is very important because it comes out in the wash later on, you know. It's better to set out, you know, I have 2 ways of looking at life. There's 2 ideologies that are clear to me, may not be to everybody, clear to me. One is working like Machiavelli, the Italian statesman who is kind of a patron saint of the mob. And if you work according to Machiavelli, you can be successful for a time, but in the end, it'll fall apart. I've never seen it succeed all the way without getting into the ideology. The second is I became a student of the book of Proverbs, King Solomon. Brilliant man, one of the wisest men that ever walked the face of the earth, if not the wisest. And his principles, if you follow them, and I'm not only talking about the religious aspect, you know, because he was a believer in God, but his everyday principles for succeeding in life, if you apply that to your business, you can be, if you've got talent and you know what you're doing, you can have longstanding success. So, and it's all about integrity and honesty. So I think that's key. Obviously, it's key in life, and it's certainly key in business.
Absolutely. There's one tale I always remember about King Solomon, the wise man, that always stuck out to me. And it was the one about the 2 women who said the child was theirs.
Exactly.
And he says, okay, he got the child, he got the sword. He says, right, I'm going to give you half each. He raised the sword. And of course, the real mother says, oh my God. And then he says, I see now, the child is yours. I mean, how wise is that? Really?
Brilliant.
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 Number 8, Michael. What would your number 8 be?
Oh boy. I think we kind of covered everything in this, you know. I always say this too, don't worry about competition. You know, be the best that you can possibly be. And it's, you know, sometimes competition is healthy because, you know, it's the old thing again, bringing up a restaurant. If you open up a restaurant and you're the only one on the street, chances are nobody's going to find you. But if you open up a restaurant with 9 other restaurants there, well, you know, that's going to become Restaurant Row. And if you're good and you got quality food, people are going to come and they're going to spread the wealth. So I say, don't worry about the competition. You know, worry about making your business the best possible business it could be.
Great advice, really. And your number 9 all-time life and business lesson from a fascinating life, Michael, and an exceptional journey. These are real jewels, real learnings that are forged under very unique circumstances. What would number 9 be? Treat
your people well. You know, treat your people well, because give them motivation to want to see you succeed. And, you know, I quite often overpaid my people, but there's a balance there. There is a balance there. And I want to explain that if I can. You know, there was a good friend of mine, and he was running on some hard times. So I got a hold, this was way back when I was in the life. And I said to him, his name was Frankie. He's passed on now, so I could say, I said, Frankie, I'm gonna give you a job. He said, oh, I appreciate it. What's the job? I said, I want you to go around to my gas stations and I want you to collect the money. Very easy. When you get there, they're just going to hand you a bag of money. That's it. And bring it to me. I'm going to pay you $3,000 a week because I'm going to help you out. Okay? You're taking a little bit of a risk. I'm going to help you out. And he was happy. Well, after about 6 months, he came back to me and he says, you know, I want a raise. I said, what? I said, do you think you're worth $3,000 a week? I said, I did you a favor. I said, but what's the problem now? You're counting my money. You're looking in the bag. You know, I said, your head's getting swelled up, my friend. I said, what you're doing now is worth about $500 a week. So long story short, there is a balance. Yeah. You know, you got to know how to balance your employees so that they're not looking at you like, hey, I'm entitled to more, or this is what I should do. So there is a balance. And I think it's taking care of them the right way and treating them respectfully. And you know, that's very important too. You know, I've had people, I have a pizza franchise now. I don't know if you're aware of that, but you know, my son is operating one of our stores. Yeah. And you know, he said, Dad, there's family members that want to work for me. And I said, you know what, that's okay. Well, you tell them straight out. You tell them straight out, we are family and I love you, but I have a business to run. Mm-hmm. And if you're not doing A, B, and C, I'm going to have to let you go. And you need to know that. I said, it's almost wise for them to sign a contract with you. Yeah. So they understand. Yeah, they understand if they violate this contract, that they agreed to be let go. So that it's in their head and they know it. So they can complain afterwards, but you have a piece of paper showing them that this is what your agreement was and this is what you did. So, you know, I guess I'm rambling on this, but the point is, treat your people well, treat them honestly, but make sure that, you know, you keep their heads right.
That is spot on. So spot on. I mean, I've always found, Michael, you know, we learn this stuff because we have to mostly, and, you know, but I've always that I like to put incentives in there. The boundaries need to be clear. They need to be healthy in a way that is progressive. But it depends where you are. But I like people to, in a way, to have to prove themselves for the right reasons. This is healthy. Yes. That works. And of course, what you've said, be proper, look after them, treat them respectfully, lift them up, you know, lift them up to better things, but keep them boundaries. So absolutely. And unbelievable wisdom, Michael, really, you know, thanks for coming on and sharing it with everyone. And I know we're going to do some stuff, hopefully in the future. I'm sure we will. And I know you've got some books out there and different stuff. You know, people can search, you know, and have a look. It's unbelievable wisdoms in there too. Guys, have a look. And Michael Franzese, thank you for coming on.
Well, it was a pleasure. I really mean it. I enjoyed it. And I look forward to doing some things in the future. I hope we do get together on that. So thank you very much. Thanks for having me. And just have a great rest of your day, my friend.
Thanks for tuning in, guys, to a wonderful new segment of The Big Shift with Stephen Gillen. Make sure to subscribe, like, go into stephengillen.com and sign up for more wonderful content to expedite, help, and support you on your own personal journey of success.